C-Doc again.
And here I was waiting for it to say the mixtape, but it didn't do that. Wrong show. Anyway, here we are, Tuesday night. You know what it is. C-Doc again. Minus C-Doc so far. Yeah. It's C-Doc again. Exactly, Knackwurst. Yeah. So while we're waiting for the man of the hour, C-Doc, you know who this next person is. I don't even remember what C-Doc says about him, except for if you don't follow him, you're a sucker. Ultramag 7.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
I just won the East Coast cussing competition, so you can add that to my my resume.
I wouldn't be surprised. There is no shock or awe.
I won't curse tonight. I promise I will not curse tonight.
At least not the way you did the other night. Holy cow.
My mother is rolling over in her grave.
Now you know why he doesn't go live anymore.
Yeah. You can't have too many of these and start talking.
Holy mackerel. I'm telling you,
so
my eyebrows,
what's good?
If my eyelashes weren't curled before, they were after. Yep.
So
what's happening? What's happening?
Little strenuous day, but good to be here amongst my friends.
Or just people that you randomly know. Sure.
Friends. We're not friends. Jennifer, I can call on you. We are friends.
Absolutely.
I hold you in high regard.
Like this.
Yeah, I hold you in high regard.
Listen, I was able to take off my Band-Aid only for 2 days before he ripped another one.
Oh, come on, Stewie. You got to chill out, man.
Man, he is on a roll.
Oh, come on, Stewie.
He's really makes me want to, yeah.
Well, wait until he gets big. Bigger.
I was going to say,
bigger.
16-pound ass. Yeah. He's a lot. Antoine, what's happening? What's happening?
What's the deal? Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, Brother Marquise.
Yeah. Oh man. That's I'm going to say this. It was always weird to me when in the mid-90s where they had the East versus West Coast type thing, because early on I just got my hands around anything I could listen to. So whether it was whatever was playing on the East Coast, I was listening to Ice-T and Chris the Glove with Reckless. I was listening to Two Live Crew, LaJuan Love, Ghetto Boys, Raheem. So actually, Two Live Crew are some of those early hip hop groups that I actually heard. So rest in peace, Brother Marquise. He's over there now with the Chinaman, and yeah, that's a sad day in hip hop.
Yeah, well, mostly because the Two Live Crew, as nasty as they wanted to be, they paved the way for for that whole subsection of.
Well, to be honest, they paved the way for all hip hop because if it wasn't for them, going to court and fighting for our rights to have the freedom of expression, to say what, for them to be as nasty as they want to be, you know, we wouldn't have that right. We wouldn't have a lot of the music that we had coming out after that ruling. So thank you to Uncle Luke, Mr. Mix, Chinaman, and Brother Marquise, hip hop legends.
Yep. Yeah, I remember every time we got a 2 Live Crew record, which was usually hand delivered by Uncle Luke himself. Back when he used to go by the name Luke Skywalker.
Right.
He, there was a huge conversation with I don't know, can we play this? Do we need to bleep out absolutely everything? Can we get away with?
Well, I won the cursing championship, so you can
right.
probably get away
and
with
I want to say that there was a point when Luke would give us a radio edit already. And they were probably the first ones to do that because they knew they can't they can't play this. So
they're radio edits, because it was funny because I had the Move Something cassette, and then that was around, I think that was 87 or so. And then UMTV Raps came out, and some of the earliest videos were 2 Live Crew would Move Something and a host of other videos. And, I was listening to the lyrics and I was like, they sure didn't say what they said in the video. It was more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any track coming from them, you knew you were gonna go, oh God, what the hell just happened?
See?
Hi.
And you know what else is another connection is I remember on this cassette, which I know and there's a song called Miami. You never heard of him. There's a song called Miami Bass, and obviously Stetsasonic heard what they were doing down in Miami, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yep.
So
look who else we can bring on. We can say hello to our friend from the Midwest, Flatline.
Oh. I'm in the Northwest.
You're Northwest.
Midwest, Northwest. Sure. Oh, sure.
Exactly. Hello, Mr. Flatline.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Because I'm having mic issues.
Yes, we can.
Can hear you.
Okay,
we can hear you.
All right. Well,
do you have any stories about the 2 Live Crew?
I do. That's why I had to run right now and grab ticket stub for my first concert, March 28th, 1990, Tone Loc with the 2 Live Crew opening.
Woo!
So I saw them do their thing, and I mean,
as nasty as they wanted to be.
And my friend from high school, he sent me a clip of the 2 Live Crew performing on Donahue, which I completely forgot about. But that was just wild. Yeah. And I remember seeing it when it originally aired. Anyway.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were something.
They were something.
They were something to behold. There they are.
You know what's weird when I think about it? Early on, there weren't that many hip hop labels, but Luke Skywalker Records was like a label you could trust. Like you pick that up, you're like, okay, like it was like a Def Jam.
Yeah.
And for like me in Philly, like a Pop Art, you just picked it up, like, okay, I know this is going to be something good.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well.
Yes. What's happening? What's going on?
Nothing much. Did you have a new show today?
Nope.
Nope.
He's on vacation.
On vacation. Might return next week. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see how we feel about it next week.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, Flatline.
Yes, sir.
Guess what? I came out today. Something that you talked about last week.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. It's Dylan and Bat Sauce.
Featuring
Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah Maxwell.
Yeah, the single we world premiered on Chuck's show last Friday. So we were the first show on planet Earth to play it. And it's dope. It's like really, that's top tier stuff right there. And then there's some other great stuff on the album as well, which I'm spacing on. But I got the press release today, and I was like, oh yeah, this looks very promising.
Yeah, well, shout out to our good friend Dylan, and he said he wrote, "Hey yo, Flatline, you ain't got this one."
Yet.
Where is my copy?
You got to talk to Dylan.
Hype Style, you're right. Luke said something about going through the legal system to get their catalog back.
Yep.
Right.
Yes. You are correct, sir.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, you're going to hear all kinds of things coming from all kinds of 30-plus-year-old groups who are now trying to get their catalogs back because the expiration date is over.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody should own, Two Live Crew went through so much and fought so many battles
for all of us, which gets lost.
Absolutely.
And having lived through that, and you can't thank Luke and the Two Live Crew enough for what they did, for what they stood for, and who knows, had they not stood up for what they believed in and for free speech, what might have happened, because it was a big deal.
Right.
So,
well, and you definitely wouldn't have anything like,
the parental advisory.
Anything like Rock the Bells or any of the Sirius XM radio stations that play whatever the hell.
Right.
The first time, let me just tell you, the first time I ever tuned in to Rock the Bells and heard, I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, can they say that? What? Wait a minute. And I think I came in on Roxanne Shantae's show.
No.
Which is like, if I had been at the radio station, I would have passed out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Oh, well, this is satellite, and the FCC doesn't have any jurisdiction over this." And I thought, okay, but there's something about it that I think has everything to do with the Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No. As crazy as they were.
Yeah, and they were crazy. It's
yeah.
As a kid, it's pretty easy to listen to, but now it's like,
yeah.
Oh,
it's a little cringeworthy now. Did they really just say that?
Right.
this wasn't Two Live Crew, but I mean, I had the tape at the same time. But I remember getting home from school and had my stereo and turning up. I had NWA playing.
Yeah.
Straight Outta Compton and F the Police. And it's like 3:30. My mom isn't supposed to get home till 5:30. So I got the volume up. And so I'm acting like I'm rhyming and I turn around. My mom's looking at me like, oh yeah, like this. So
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Right.
The thing about it, I'm probably happier that she caught me listening to NWA than she caught me listening to Live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have named an album better when they named it As Nasty As We Want to Be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, there they went.
Yeah.
We can bring in.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was going to share. It doesn't matter. Our guests here.
Our guests are here, and we can bring them in, and they can join in the fun if they want. In the conversation. Flatline, why don't you introduce them?
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's just bring them on. It's QBall and Curt Cazal.
What's good? I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Man, I had to make some modifications here.
I haven't had an introduction in so long, man. I love it.
So good to see you guys.
Good to see you guys too. What's up, Ultra? Hi, Jen. How's everybody doing?
Salute.
Y'all, as you're talking about Two Live Crew, I'm like, man, that nasty as they want to be picture was on my wall in my room. I mean, that's all I could go. That's all I could give you there. It was on my wall for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Flatline?
Oh, just to what am I trying to say? My dad found my dubbed copy of Straight Outta Compton and Easy Does It, and I put it on a 90-minute tape, so it got all the NWA and most of Easy. And he found that tape in my room, and he sat me down. He's like, "What would your mother think about this?" And I was like, "Oh." And I had to destroy the tape in front of him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's thorough. That's thorough right there.
That's hard times.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Dad.
Did you get another one?
I can say as a preacher's kid, I never had that problem. And I was a preacher's kid, and I never had that problem.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You're fortunate.
Of course, they didn't know. The most my father ever knew who was the preacher was 10 years ago sitting in front of the television watching SVU. And I really like that guy right there. Dad, do you remember, I don't know, 25 years ago when you used to tell me ice cream iced tea? Yeah, he called. Okay. He says, yeah, I remember that. That's him.
Man.
Hard to connect those dots.
That was a bizarre connect the dots for my dad. That's him. Yeah, Dad, that's him.
He's like, oh, I used to like that guy.
He never heard any of his music because if he had, he wouldn't have liked him so much. But yeah,
it was on TV.
that was the only connecting the dots that I ever had to do.
Wild. So, gentlemen, I'm gonna I don't know, filling in a little bit for C-Doc because he's gonna be late, but he kind of starts off with, what's your latest stuff that you have going on? And I know what it is. I know that you have the Can't Fuck With Us and Thirsty for Action singles. which are available, right?
We talking about the official stuff.
50 more hits too.
Not the stuff I'm sitting in the studio mixing right now.
Ah.
Okay.
That's why I'm having all these problems. I got all these connections going on.
Right. So is there an album coming?
That's a good question. DJ Clips asked me about the same thing, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, essentially we have material, but we can do it. We can do it. It's just picking things. I don't know how these guys whip out these albums in like a half a day, but we still choose our beats and stuff specifically.
Yeah, you put some time into it.
Something like that. I mean, you don't just want to rhyme on it because it's done. You want to make sure it fits. So yes, I was in the lab all day and I'm trying to coordinate all that stuff. But yes, those two are the joints. And the 50, I think you mentioned the 50 that with DJ Robert Smith. So and there's a couple of items that are in the background waiting to drop as well on some other collabs. That's why the album is so difficult to come out, because the collabs of what we've been doing so much of. So to try to fit in we actually had to stop doing collabs so we can concentrate on doing material. But that's where we're at now. And we got 2 songs done. A whole 2. So
yes, it's not the same as when we used to go roll up to D&D and spend, go there like at 5 o'clock in the evening and leave at 5 in the morning. Now, me and Curt get up about 8 and wrap it up about 12.
Yeah.
So whatever we could fit in that time. But yeah, we got a lot of nice joints. I mean, I think a lot of times, like, with the internet and stuff, it's so cool, but it's also so different. Like, I speak to so many guys online that we're like good friends. I've never met them in person, but we talk on Instagram. We talk, we talk on we text back and forth. We email back and forth, but I've never actually met these dudes. And they're like, Robert Smith is like one of my boys now. Never met him in person. You know what I'm saying? So we keep talking about like, yo, we gotta link up. But I talk to him every day, like he's been my friend for 20 years. So you make friends and connections, and then you're like, oh, let's do this joint, and my boy got this beat, and let's do this and let's do that, and then that's how we ended up doing a lot of the collabs with Rob, and same thing. And then Rob introduced us to some more people, and we just did another collab with DJ Crumb, and it just keeps coming. It's like, hey, we get somebody else reach out, yo, we're doing the project, you guys want to get on it? So it's cool, but like Curt was saying, we want to kind of scale it back and go back to more take a hold of our sound, because we do have a sound. It's just we kind of go away from it a little bit, doing other projects. So the last few joints that Curt whipped up under his own production is just crazy. So we're kind of just going to scale back, kind of hang out, get these joints done, find a proper way to release. I love releasing vinyl, so we want to make sure that whatever we do, we have something, that we could send out, people have in their hands. And if you listen to, I know Curt mentions it a lot too, but if you listen to most of my verses, I mention DJs. I always mention the DJ. DJs, those are the guys who always held us down for our period of time that we've been in this game, and Curt, further back than me with JVC Force and everything. So, DJs are always the guys that that keep us moving. So, that's wow. I just want to make sure that the jokes. That was Curt's car.
No, it was not. That it was not. Fortunately,
I was gonna warn you, Curt. Be prepared for this, because they're gonna start pulling out all the Barbies and the.
That's all good. That's all good. It's part of history.
It's funny. It came up like on Long Island. It came up when I saw that picture one day. I forget who I was talking to, but it came up that I have not seen an abandoned car in like 25 years, right? But there used to be abandoned cars everywhere. Where are those abandoned cars?
They're here in Seattle.
We'd have never had a cover.
And there was an abandoned car everywhere. And then I'm like, and then when somebody showed me that album cover, I was like, yo, what happened to the abandoned car? It's like, oh, like they don't get abandoned anymore. No, like is there somewhere new where people put these old cars, or they just do the right thing?
Every it gets cleaned up quickly.
I swear. And once I had a Buick Regal, and my I forget what I was missing. I think I needed a windshield wiper, and I don't know, remember what it was, but it's a nice Buick Regal. And I'm driving down the street, and I'm with one of my friends, and I see a abandoned Buick Regal in the woods. You don't see that anymore, but I saw it then. Right. And it was just in there all beat up. So I was like, yo, do me a favor, just jump out and go grab the windshield wipers off that Buick Regal. Of course, police rolled up, locked them up for stripping an abandoned car. I was like, oh, yeah, they locked them up. I was like, my bad.
Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah, but my abandoned car story.
Well, I got to thank you guys, because you guys throughout the years have sent me for Hip Hop Gods Radio all your latest joints, and you're sending them to me like before they're even out. So
that is very true. Yeah,
I appreciate you, man. We appreciate you, man. I mean,
absolutely.
You've been giving us all the love. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I'm sorry we haven't been able to hit you with a lot of Curt Cazal produced QC stuff, but
that's true. That's true.
But it's you know, it's crazy. It's very crazy.
Yeah. No,
so,
I understand.
But yeah, I mean, the last couple of years ago, I had moved, so the studio had to move to the new location, and I actually had the D&D board from the A room in the old house, so it was kind of strange because it was not supposed to go to the new house, and it was humongous, so and it's heavy like forget it. So it was a whole lot of things going on. So it turned out and perfectly worked out that Jay-Z needed it for the pop-up shop. Because I think they did most of Dead Presidents on there. I forgot what the album
Reasonable
was.
Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
So he ended up snatching that. That saved me a whole lot of trouble and time. So then I had to get a couple of years off just to build out and then put the new board in and stuff like that. So I was making notes for beats and stuff like that. But half of them, when I started reading it back, I'm like, this doesn't sound like how I envisioned it at all. So I had to almost start from scratch. But so that kind of delayed us, but we were holding it down, just doing a lot of collabs in the meantime. Because again, without the stable studio that I'm used to for all the years, it kind of makes it hard to create. And I even bought like 3 different MPCs in this little one, and I was like, it was supposed to go portable with me. But when I looked at it, the screen was like this big, and I was like, I can't see this thing on there. I'm trying to whip up this beat with the wavelength, and I can't do that. So I had to sell that thing. So I'm only down to 2 MPCs now. But we definitely it was good. Man. It was definitely good because I was able to kind of rehone the sound, and I'm in a better place now. So yeah, but it's some solid QNC on the hard drive.
Yeah, I think I'm down for one of those MPCs, man. I mean, put me down for one.
I said 2.
Curt, he don't let me mess with any beats at all. No. I think I did come up with a couple hook ideas, though.
Nah, that you did. I mean, you can come up with beats all you want, but you're gonna be here for a while.
Wow. At least you know where you stand, right?
I know exactly listen, I'm just telling you exactly what's going to happen. I'm here for a while.
I know exactly where I stand, Jen. Exactly. He's like, yo, the beat's done. You ready? I'm like, can you send it to me? I need about 2 weeks to write it. It's all good. All good.
You were going to say, Ultra?
Oh, no. Just going back real quick. I've never had the chance to say this, but this album, Curt, out of all hip hop beats ever made, Strong Island is my favorite hip hop beat. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Everything. When I think of what hip hop sounds like to me, it sounds like that Strong Island beat. Definitely.
So I appreciate that. I mean, how, I mean, I don't know. There's some crazy story, but I'm gonna say there's some specific stories that are going around on how about how that's created. But they're all pretty much false. That was created in my dad's garage that he built me out a place for me to put my turntables and my setup and all my records, which my Dr. Love fell out of the jacket and broke on the damn floor. So
Oh.
I had to readjust the skew on that. But that was built in that garage in the cold actually. Um and from all the records that I stole from him. Good looking out, Dad. Um, so it's just one of those things where uh, we didn't have a direction, and that was the thing about back then. You didn't have necessarily a direction. Everybody went in and had fun. Even EPMD, everybody, we all went to the same studio, and we all just went in and had fun. Now I look back on a lot of stuff. I'm like, wow, I think I might have had a little bit too much fun, but it represented a different vibe. So that's why it's so hard for some of us to deal with what we hear kind of now. Um,
Right.
it's more focused on other things, and they're also as young as we were at the time. So it's strange the subject matter at that at this particular juncture. But we just I did most actually I think I did all the beats on that album, but they were just I went in, came up with this concept, and I think at that time I was going into the studio by myself and just laying the
Right.
beats down, and then telling the guys, "Yo, this is the beat. This is where we are. Come in, do the vocals, or taking, I recorded on my cassette tape, and then gave it to them. And actually, that's how that was made. Strung out with a cassette tape. Yo, pause and record button. My Sanyo held me down.
Wow.
Sanyo, man.
Um,
So
were you, you were working with Charlie Murata back then, right? Or
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, as far as
Okay.
engineering was concerned,
Yeah.
yeah, he was. That was a studio we went to. Um, and he actually taught me a lot about the boards. And usually his breaks are how I actually learned how to do most of the stuff in the studio. 'Cause he used to take these long breaks, and I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? We're doing this about an hour. What are we doing here? So I just started learning what he was doing as he was doing it, and he was like, listen, if you want, I'll show you some stuff. And he was just leaving. I'll be running session. I said, well, who getting paid for this session? You. So, but I was glad for the knowledge because it ended up working out later on down the line.
Right. Wow. You were using a lot of samples that later on became like prevalent, but your ear was crazy because you had samples back 87, 88 that were like, you know, just
That is very true. That is very true.
yeah, absolutely.
I won't even give myself a whole lot of credit for that because a lot of people were doing stuff like that. At
Hmm.
that time, everybody was digging with their
Right.
minds. Everybody '90s were digging in the crates, but in '80s was digging with their minds. I mean, you look at the De La stuff and how
Hmm.
Paul put together that stuff, and we can't say we were more than 50 miles farther than each one of us. So between Paul and Amityville and APMD and Brentwood and Rockham and Wyandanch, everybody's pretty much close in
Hmm.
proximity. But yeah, I there were a lot of things that were hot at the time, so they were rhymable, you know, and I was not
Right.
MCing at that time, nor did I have interest. So it was like I could hear somebody rhyming on this, so this is how I'm going to structure this beat.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I thank you for that. I did see a lot of stuff. I mean, even the Biggie, the One More Chance.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
I was
Absolutely.
like, but I never hated. I was like, wow, that's a
Yeah.
restructure that we weren't at that point at that time. So
Hmm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. You were definitely ahead of the game. Ahead of the game.
Is there any plans for a release like stateside of Duo Dynamic from 2005? Because that joint's got Camp Low, it's got Easy Mo B involved,
Yeah,
Team.
that's a good question. That's a very good question.
A lot of good
That got
questions.
wrapped up. That got wrapped up in a lot of uh label
Label.
breakup stuff.
Yeah, that's
Um,
kind of what I figured, but
Yeah. So between V2 and some of the recording stuff with them, it got wrapped up in a lot of stuff. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think I don't even think any of that stuff is on any streaming platforms, is it?
It's not to my knowledge.
No, they wouldn't be able to, honestly. Yeah, they wouldn't necessarily be able to, but I say that now and then tomorrow I'll see it. So
Yeah.
and then I gotta chase around. I still don't know how all that doing damage stuff is out, but hey, I throw my hands on that one.
I think that I want to say that that whole repertoire album has been leaked out somewhere too. I think I heard it online or something. There was a lot of nice joints on there, man.
Yeah.
I can
that's
tell
peculiar.
you, if somebody turned it into Orchard, forget it. It's going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Really? Okay.
Well, that makes sense.
Wow.
We've been over at Yag Fu Front Camp. We've been fighting with Orchard because that's what put Action Packed Adventure up years ago.
Wow.
And they have made this much money on it.
Yeah.
Orchard has been raking it in, and Yag Fu hasn't seen a penny. But you want to know where things are showing up? Orchard.
Yeah.
Wow.
And go after them.
I'm gonna have to take a look.
with both fists. Go after them because they're the same ones that are constantly, they're tagging stuff on YouTube that has nothing to do with them.
Really?
They're flagging stuff on YouTube constantly.
Wow.
And shutting things down. Yeah.
I'm quite busy.
Orchard.
Give
Give them a call. That's my rant for the day.
I like it.
We hate Orchard.
So, good.
No, go ahead, Ultra. I'm actually not even ready yet.
No, I just wanted to go back and after JVC, how did you two guys hook up?
I'll let Q tell the majority of that story, but JVC was still kind of in the mix when Q and I linked up, because I was also doing the K Solo project. I was also doing the Keith Murray project. So it was a couple of things I was doing the production for at the time, and I was able to do beats like mad. And then I ran into Q, and I said, we'll probably do something as far as a solo situation is for you. And then, because I'm really trying to tie up all the other stuff. And then things started to happen. That's how I guess that's how you become experienced. You learn because things always happen. And people started to go different places and get into certain things. And it ended up, me and Q just had to take the reins at that particular point.
Before you go into part B of that comment, let's bring on the man of the hour. There he is. Wow.
Damn it. I was not ready for that. Thank you, though.
What in the hell?
You caught a mid.
Yeah, I know. Thanks a lot. Good timing, Jennifer.
What's up, C-Doc?
What's up, sir?
I was hoping that was the Knicks hat, but I can't see it.
45K.
45K.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Salute to them.
Oh,
Kurt, QBall, thank you for being here. I apologize for being late. Sorry about that.
Things happen.
My son
He's
had a recital tonight that went crazy long. Oh, jeez. So
that's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Yes, but please continue, please.
Yes, QBall. Now you can tell your part of the story.
All right, so Kurt, we went to high school together. We had a good. We went to Central Islip High School. We had a good. When around towards the end of high school, when like EPMD was out, You know, Rakim was out. You know, it was '86. Rakim was, you know, I was like, yo, this guy, and you know, he was so close to us that, you know, I was listening to hip hop as a you know, Run DMC, you know, LL, like listening to Mr. Magic, but you know, I wasn't really, you know, I was still listening to Meatloaf and Billy Joel and all that stuff. You know, I was kind of in the middle, just learning hip hop. You know, so I knew Curt from school. You know, he was cool. Like, you know, he would kind of give me a, what's up? You know, I'm like, oh, Curt, you know, yeah, what's up? You know, I was that guy, and I had a whole different crew. You know, Keith Murray was popping. You know, he was I heard some demos with him, with Keith Murray, with Kane and these guys, and he was just coming up. You know, so our whole town was kind of really getting into hip hop, and then, you know, Craig Mack, I think at that time he had that Zoom joint around that time, I think it was. So I was like, yo, you know, and I'm getting into hip hop. I'm slowly moving away from other types of music, and I'm like really loving hip hop. And I just started memorizing every Rakim line I could memorize, right? And I was like, I want to do this. So I started, me and one of my boys, we like, oh, we're gonna do this group. We're gonna make a group. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be, I'm gonna be QBall. He's gonna be 8-ball. You know, it was gonna be cool, right? It's kind of corny now that I say it out loud.
A lot of balls.
And so, you know, so he and this guy Lee, we were writing. We were taking it serious, writing all day. Notebooks full. It was probably really bad, right? So I think, I want to say, I don't remember who else was out that time, but a lot of motivation, mostly from Long Island guys. You know, that was like my motivation at that time. You know, I heard a lot of the Mr. Magic stuff. Guys from the city I didn't relate to as much, but the Long Island guys, I was all over it, right? My boy Lee ended up getting locked up. He was doing some dirt. He ended up getting locked up. And
was he the one that stole the windshield wipers?
No, I had a lot of dumb friends. He ended up getting locked up. So I started doing some solo stuff by myself, and I had another, besides Curt, because Curt was kind of like a superstar already at that point when I started. You know, he was already doing his thing. I think they were already in Germany and stuff, and me, I was just still on, you know, my hometown. So I ran into this other guy. I think it's Lenny. His name Lenny Curt.
Ace?
Yeah.
Marrow.
Yeah. I ran into him, and he looked at me. I spit some verses for him, and he was like, "All right, you know, you're a little rough around the edges, but I could do something with you." He was like, "Did you ever hear? I don't know what. See, I'm bad with years, but Mama Said Knock You Out. Anybody know when that came out?
1990.
That's 90.
All right. Mm-hmm. Mama Said Knock You Out. He looked at me, looked me up and down. You know, I was kind of a big kid. You know, I wasn't going for the Mark Wahlberg look, but I was, you know, a little different. So he was like, "Yo, you think you could do a Mama Said Knock You Out type of joint?" And I hated when people would say, "Do you think you could do this?" Every type of joint was hot. You think you could do that type of joint?
Not like a record label.
Yeah. But anyway. So I, you know, we did a couple joints together, and it came out pretty good. And I just so happened, funny story too. I don't know if we have a lot of time. Funny story.
No, go ahead.
I made a demo, right? So of course I had my demo. I was with Lenny. We're driving down Suffolk Avenue by my house. And so you from Long Island too or no?
Jersey.
Just Jersey. All right. I thought you were from Long Island for some reason. But yeah, we're driving down and we run into Craig Mack. Right, Lenny had did some work with Craig Mack. Craig is by the train station. I have demo. Me and Lenny are going to the city. We're gonna walk into every record label and hand out this demo. I'm gonna be the next LL Cool J, but not him. Right? We run into Craig. Craig is like, "Yo," and you know, he's adamant, very loud guy. "Yo, Lenny, taking me to my house. I got demos. I'm going with you." Right? So I never thought this was going to be like one of the highlights of my life because I just knew Craig from around the way. Now that I think about it, it was a great honor to be with this man, right? But he jumps in Lenny's car. Lenny's car. We go to Craig. We get his demos. We go to the city. This guy takes my demo and his demo, and he walks into Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers Records, right? That had the big bunny in the front when you walk in, I think, on the floor. He walks in, he's just giving it to like the secretaries. But I mean, that was pretty cool, right? Nobody ever called back for that. Maybe him. So then, long story short, I'm mailing. I'm a hustler. Flatline, I'm a hustler. I hit everybody back. I'm still that guy. Many years later. So I got all these demos packed up. I'm doing faxing. I'm faxing all this information, all these record labels. And I go to the post office and I see Curt there. He must have been mailing something out. But again, he was a lot further along than me. I'm like, yo, Curt, what's up? He's like, yeah, he knew who I was, but he wasn't really we weren't really friends at that point. But I'm like, yo, I got this tape. Let me get your tape. So I gave it to Curt. I don't remember exactly. I think he might have just told me to come to his house or something like that. But I don't remember exactly how we started, but he did. And I was still in high school and Curt was still doing JVC stuff. And we did a song called No Surrender, right, Curt? That was like our first one. And I still remember it. So. Mm. And it was just me by myself. And Curt is the master of flow. So he like fixed me up. He's like, what, you can't fit 10,000 words into one bar. He's like, you gotta like do, and he really worked with me, man. Like he took me, under his wing, was like, yo, we're not gonna go crazy. You're not gonna be Rakim guy. You're not gonna be LL. You're just gonna be you. You're gonna fit you're gonna put a couple words in each line. You're gonna calm down. You're gonna bring your voice way down. You're gonna stop yelling. You're not Mama said knock you out. And he just, reeled me in, and Curt still reels me in to this day. Because I go to his house and I'll drink like two and I'll be like, yo, let's go. He's like, you down, 30 years later, 25 years later, bring it down 10 notches. But so then Curt got on one joint with us. We did a song called Making Moves.
Mm-hmm. It was before that.
With that.
That wasn't the first one.
No?
I forgot what it was. Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was because So Curt it was a beat he did. I think he gave me the beat, and then he actually really, really loved the beat himself. And he was kind of probably mad. He's like, I can't believe I gave him this beat. So he was like, I'm gonna get on the beat. So he got
that was not my attitude. That was not my attitude at all. That's not my attitude. If I give it to you a certain way, most likely, if from jump, that's how I envisioned it. So
then he jumped on the beat, and then once he jumped on the beat, then people were like, "Yo, we like this QBall joint. Who is Curt on the beat?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So then we were just like, "All right." So then we're a thing because they liked the joints that Curt was on, but they didn't really necessarily call back for the joints that Q was just on by himself. So when we got together, we matched up nice. So I think from there we just kind of started doing some joints together. And Curt did. I think I actually rhymed on one of the JVC Boys joints, right? Like on the last.
On the album that did not come out from Big Beat when we signed a Big Beat. I forgot which one it was.
So I think I actually did a little guest verse on there, and and then we just kind of kept it up. We kind of just.
I just have a question. What kind of ball was Lenny?
Oh, he was no ball.
No. Ironically, to lend context to that, Lenny Marrow is actually the guy I think that is part of two producers that produced the B-side of Flavor in Your Ear, if I'm not mistaken. He's I think he's on
a lot of dope beats.
I don't recall, but I know on the B-side, I think he did Flavor in Your Ear, the remix of the original version, something like that. He runs with Diamond J, or I think he's now Diamond. Right. So Lenny does have context, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Huh. Oh. I think he did a lot. I think he did joints for Craig too, early Craig Mack joints, if I'm not mistaken.
Craig did most of his stuff. Craig did most of his own production at that time. He and Diamond J, or Diamond, DJ Diamond. I can't remember his names now. He got too many names.
Yeah. Which is funny because I just started reaching. I just linked back up with I just with Instagram and stuff. You could just you just link back up with everybody. So I just linked back up with him as well recently.
Who, Lenny?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Diamond. And Diamond J. Yeah.
So through the 90s, you guys were dropping singles.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really an album until what? 2005?
Yeah, well, that took a while because we were doing the album at the time, but then I started doing Mama Mystique. So
right.
that kind of pushed things a little bit. And when we were doing the singles, it kind of felt right because one was more like an EP.
Yeah, right.
In all honesty, the Making Moves one was more of like an EP, and I don't know what really made us do something like that. But instead of doing the AB, we just had a thing going at that time, so it was best to capture it and just let it go. And we let the 3 go with Making Moves. But we weren't really big on throwing out music, and that was why everything was always taking so long.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the Duo Dynamic album was 2005.
Yeah,
that took a while to put together.
There was a big gap between releases from there to the AIM stuff, really, pretty much.
Yeah, like another 10 years, right?
Yeah. What were we doing in that 10 years?
I don't know. I don't know.
They were on the Stetsasonic schedule.
Yeah,
is what was happening.
Yeah.
No, I think once we started our album, and then once I started doing the Mystique project, that kind of took over, and I think I ended up doing up to about 8 songs with that. Then I had to stop and get back to doing the Q&C stuff. So it was a lot of things going on at the time. Yeah, it's just one of those timing things. I didn't have as many ideas as I thought at that time.
Yeah, we did do an album. We did do that D&D album that was pretty much finished. I don't really remember what happened with it, but there was a lot of joints on there. We really did have a lot of joints.
Yeah, that was a V2 problem. That was the whole label situation with that.
There's always a label.
Always a label situation.
Yeah.
Especially when you take time to do things.
Damn labels.
I think we had an album situation with Charlie Murata too, right? Didn't we have an album?
Originally, we were supposed to sign with Fresh Records at the time. I think they were Fresh at the time.
Oh wow!
Right.
And just about that time, I think EP&E was getting off. So it was like, I don't think we're doing that again. A lot of crazy stuff.
Well, you did the repertoire 12-inch through G Street, right?
I was just about to ask about that.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Correct. That particular beat, because even when I was doing production at the time, I don't think I did the boot camp stuff yet, but that particular beat I had to actually not show anybody. I said this was going to be our joint, and I just put it aside and did it specifically for that. And then of course you're in the studio mixing it down, and they come in the studio like, yo, why you didn't show us that beat, son? So it's always that case. And then I started doing some of the stuff for Afu Ra, and he was taking all of the stuff that I was putting aside for Q&C. So I never got to do it. Was a mess. So he took a couple of Q&C beats, that's for sure. So crazy world.
Yeah. Curt, can you talk about D&D Studios?
I can.
And just I like any stories you might have about being there, working there. Such for those of us who were never there, but we've heard the stories.
Well, I didn't work there, but I did all of my production there once I left North Shore with Charlie Murata. I got hooked up with them through the D&D project, the first one, from a young rapper named Intense that I actually passed away right after, a couple years after he had released that stuff. Wow. And I kept a relationship with Doug and Dave at that time, and that's how I got connected with them, and then just saw the vibe that was down there, and it felt like the right move to make. So I started making that my production home, and it just was active all the time, and a lot of different things went on. Very, very active though. I know one story I do have, which is basically I wouldn't tell anybody else's stories, but when I was doing the sauce, was it sauce? The remix for jazz, and everybody was coming in to do their verses and stuff. And I think Jay was coming in. Jay came in and was supposed to fly out the next day. I think Q might have heard this story. When I did the rough beat, I did it at D&D, but on a machine. I forgot. I think it might have been an MPC 60, and I never really used that machine. Did this whole beat, and then when it was time to do it, everybody came in. Jay came in. We were getting ready to do these vocals, and I realized that the disc that I had for the beat was a machine I didn't have. So here we are, all together to do
Oh
this
shit.
joint, and I don't have. So now we got to scramble around Manhattan on a Sunday, trying to find this MPC to do this beat so I can do this remix, and he could do these verses that he did for that joint.
Oh man.
And it was a mess, and it was like there was no tomorrow with this. It had to be done right now, or else Jay's verse was not going to be on it. So turned out we didn't find the damn thing, so I had to kind of do the beat all over again.
Wow.
So, but you had to make some you had to make some moves accordingly to make things happen though. But it's one of those things where you're like, wow, I didn't do this beat here. So that was the worst time to find, because I mean we live in Long Island, so we had to drive all the way out there, hour and a half to get there on a Sunday, no less. And we all out there, everybody's meeting up there, everybody's getting together, everybody's getting, have their 40s or whatever it is they're drinking, everybody's set up for a party, and then it's like going to a party and the DJ don't show up. So it's like it was something else. But everybody cooperated, and we were able to get like 3 verses for that remix actually from Jay. And I don't think we only used one. We only used one, so that was I think it was called Foundation.
Where are those 2 other verses?
I think they're somewhere. I don't know, but that's when for some reason I ended up doing production for 3 different songs called Foundation. Never could figure it out. One was with Jazzo, and then one that Sauce Money heard Jazzo's song and wanted to do his own version, and then MOP's song turned out to be Foundation. I was like, why do I have all these Foundation songs? I didn't name them though.
Another song called Foundation.
Who? Oh, so we did. We did. That's right. We did.
Right.
So I don't know how it worked. I didn't name them, so it didn't work
out. Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to the next version of Foundation that you do.
I might have to do like a snippet tape or something with all of the Foundation,
right?
And that'll be my Curt Cazale Foundation era,
right?
So it's unbelievable.
Well, okay, so finally, 2005 Duo Dynamic. The record comes out. How were you happy with the situation? It was Grand Central Records.
It was a licensing situation, and we were cool with the producers that had owned the label. Mm-hmm. I think some time had gone by between the time that was a lot of that stuff was recorded, and I'm not really sure what our position was at the time. Do you have any recollections, JQ?
No, I remember. So if I just looked up the track list really quick because I'm like, I had to take a look at it. I think what the thing was with we had done some stuff with Grand Central. They were great with we were touring and stuff like that. It was definitely something that we were enjoying. I think the Duo Dynamic album, like Curt said, a lot of the songs were getting old. And we're kind of just sitting on it, and labels, we're like, we got this situation. That's not good anymore. So now we got this situation. Now we got another situation. And we got another situation. And it got to the point where I was like, I think we were just like, you know what? We need to just put this out because it's getting stale. You know what I mean? The sound. And if you listen to that album, Curt did a lot of production on there. Easy Mo B did a joint on there, and that joint was supposed to be for the D&D project. They were just it just became a 10 track over a long period of time, and I think we just got to a point where we were like, let's just Grand Central, they say, hey, let's get this out. So we just said, let's do it, and we were just hoping for more, but it kind of filled out, and that happened, and during that era, I think that happened a lot because there was a lot of shelving and a lot of labels closing, and if you had a situation with an A&R, although I still think we need A&Rs today, but if you have a situation with an A&R and he's like, yo, all in your project, and you probably hear this a lot of groups, and I listen to your show and watch your guys' show, you talk to a lot of groups. You're in with a label and an A&R, and then all of a sudden that guy's gone. Yeah. And you're like, oh, what's going on with it? They're like, the deal's gone. He's gone. The deal's gone. Y'all are gone. Yep. So I think we just ended up wanting to get that on something, and which is what we did at that point.
I think honestly that might have also been that gap between everything too. That was the beginning, or around the time when the studios were closing, and and that was the biggest mess. This labels always, they always fold, or they go this other place, or get picked up by but when the studios started closing, you're talking about important legacy studios, and now things just had a different vibe, and I think that delayed a lot of stuff that we were doing, because to get a Pro Tools set up in your house at that time or early in that, you're talking investment. Yeah. So it just, too many things were happening at that time. And then the South started making a little bit noise with their sound, and things were just evolving or devolving, however you want to call it. Yeah. And so I think that's a lot of what was going down too. You just can't close a Chung King or close a D&D or close a Calliope and just everything just remains fine. It just doesn't work like that. So I think it just got caught in between all that. Because I think just before 2001 is when D&D closed, somewhere in there, like 2002.
I was just looking at it. It said in 2003. DJ Premier bought it.
Correct.
And it closed in 2014.
Yeah, that's the second coming up. Yeah, when he took over that part.
All right, say hello, Rocco.
Hi.
Rocco.
Hey, Rocco.
What's happening, Rocco?
Everybody said hi. All right.
Just say hi.
All right, get a move on, boy.
It's flatbread pizza.
Yeah, it's flatbread pizza. Yeah.
Oh man!
Oh, now you're flat. Now you're not just flatbread, but you're flatbread pizza. Wow.
Flatbread.
Oh, Rocco, you're killing me.
Flatbread.
All right, get a move on so I can do my show. Go.
It's tasty.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Rocco.
You're tasty, Flatline.
You're grounded.
Flatbread.
Oh, man.
That's what happens when school's out. It's like barging in. Wow. Did not expect that.
Wow.
Okay, so that was Rocco. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so in 2003, Premiere bought it.
Yeah, then how long was it
from them?
How long was it open after that? Because I know he had to move to where he's at now.
That 11 years.
Yeah, that was his own. That was his own entity at that point. The two Ds weren't involved per se at that juncture there, because again things had changed. Yeah. So that was his entity to do all his production and all his stuff. I mean, it was his home, so it made sense.
Right.
It definitely made sense.
Right.
To somebody named G. Fisher, Digging in the Crates label member G. Fisher recorded his debut single "Fish Over" Premiere, and EP "God MC" here as the last project to be recorded in D&D.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
There you go.
Sounds about right.
Wow, it was open 11 more years after that.
Yeah, Premiere had it open for that time.
Yeah, and then I think they sold the building, right?
I think they knocked it down too.
They knocked it down. Yeah.
I think they did, and built up some kind of condos or something in it. I think I won't go down that block, so I can't call it. I'm not gonna go down there. I mean, like, wow, that's a beautiful building now. I mean, no. So why would that make sense?
Right.
But I mean, to understand, I don't think there was a studio like that. I've been to a few in the city, but to have everybody kind of co-mingling in the common area is very different than the other ones that had floors, or they had different doors and entrances and stuff. This had one entrance and everybody was there, and that's how these records got made, with people that with people that you wouldn't even think would have had records together. Some of those people weren't even supposed to be on records, and they just happened to be there, and that was the vibe of that place. You'll never get that kind of situation again.
Yeah.
The list of albums recorded there is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Jay-Z, Fat Joe, Big L, Nas, Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
All right.
Crazy.
So then after 2005, you guys took a while for the next one.
Yeah, I don't. I can't say what happened. I can't say what happened between it. I really don't know.
I think we did record some stuff, but I think we were just doing our own thing, and we were just that's when we were hitting a certain part of our adulthood where we were buying stuff, getting our houses situation together, and stuff like that. I think we were still recording because Curt always had bangers and he always had his studio set up. So yeah, it was just a long gap, and then I think between that we didn't release anything until we started working on the AIM QNC album that came in, I think, 2015. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
which is a great project. I still I love that project. Oh yeah, I love that.
I mean,
I told you.
Flatline loves it too.
That took a long time to do.
Shout out to AIM and shout out to Nico because they take real good care of me. But man, I love this album so much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was difficult. Sorry?
How long did it take to put together?
A couple of years, honestly. A lot of the concepts I would send back to him via email, and we talk a couple times on the phone just to be in sync with with that kind of stuff. I'd send him back the hooks, or we send him back something here and there just to direct the vision of that each song. And he's already very particular as well, so so it's kind of strange to not have any production of mine on it. So it was kind of weird for me, but but it was
good though, because then we were
beneficial.
able to focus on concepts, which we weren't really doing so much of. But that Habit album has a lot of concept songs, which wasn't really something that we dove in too much. And like 1,000 Reasons, when we wrote that, I was like, yo, this is dope, man. We could do stuff like this all day. Like I could, stories are great, you know what I mean? But we just weren't, that just wasn't our thing. And so it was fun to do that. It really was.
Yeah. I have to ask, because I don't know for sure if this is true, but isn't one of Sean Price's last verses that he did on this project before he passed?
I'm not sure, but I think it was in that proximity.
Yeah.
Because after working with him on that, I had actually I had really wanted to do a larger project with him. So it was like, that was kind of the beginning where I understood what he was doing, and it was like right in our lane. And I was like, all right, I could do the beats on this. And I was talking to Drew a couple of times, but I hadn't gotten to mention it to him just yet. And we were still trying to mix that, and I had to do the remix to it. So it was kind of a lot of things will happen. That's why time is a funny thing.
Right.
Man, you can't do anything about it, but time will throw you off. Because I would have easily done a bunch of joints with him and had him done without question. And he sits. I mean, he was on the D&D project too that I did. How It Sounds, and that was more of when he was Ruck.
Yeah.
So, but as he transitioned into Sean Price, it was a whole different thing. And I said, I'm going to try to see if I can, once I'm finished with this next thing, I want to get back to him and see if we can try to at least do a couple joints and see if we can find a flow. And it was unfortunate, very, very much so, because that was a missed opportunity. I think he definitely would have shined on some beats.
Absolutely, 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
He sounded good on that joint.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It sounded incredible. Yeah.
Indeed.
So how did the connect with AIM happen?
You want to take that, Q?
I mean, if I remember right, it was just pretty much through Grant Central. I mean, AIM was an artist
And Mark
on Grant
Ray.
Central with Mark Ray and those guys.
Okay.
So he was doing, on that joint there, which I don't remember. I think AIM did a remix did he do a remix for Tremendous, the Mama Mystique joint? Or was that
No,
Mark?
Mark did.
I think Mark did it, yeah.
Mark did.
So, then Mark had us, that's how we kind of met Mark. Mark had us come out with Mystique and do some shows. We did a video out there. I think Mark had a label. That's kind of like the story all these years. It's always like there's a new project and, a new label wants to do something and we're like, let's do it. So I took off like a month of work. I think I got fired. Took off and went to London. Went to Manchester, and I was like, "Yo, this is what I want to do. This is amazing!" Like, we went out there, we started doing some shows, we did some videos, and I was like, "This is cool." And we met AIM. AIM was like AIM, right? Flatline.
Yeah.
This guy is the professional. Like, this guy is a professional. He's a professional. Like, went out there, we chopped it up. I don't think we recorded the Force when we were there the first time, but we just kind of like, we hung out. We had ended up setting up some shows and stuff. We did the Force. Force did really well for us. Still doing well for us. And I think it's 25 years later, maybe.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm only 35, so it's crazy.
It's crazy as a youngster.
It's crazy. But yeah, then we just chopped it up with him, and he went on to do his own label when Grand Central closed down, and we stayed in touch. I'm still in touch with Mark as well, but more with AIM at this point, and and Nico, we toured together, the whole crew. So they're family now, and there she is. Yeah, she's that's our girl, and they're cool. They're great people. They're like family. So we, I forget who reached out, but I know we were going back. I was going back and forth with AIM, and one of us came up with the idea of let's do a project. I don't remember exactly who, but he started sending us beats, and I was like, let's do it. And the cool thing, like Curt was saying, it was no Curt Cazale production, but it let Curt be an MC and just have concepts and let us sit back and, because most of the time, if it's just me and Kurt's so focused on beats that I'm harassing him. I'm like, Curt, he's like, yo, I know you wrote your little verses and shit, but I got work to do. I'm doing beats. Like, relax. So at least with the AIM project, it was like, yo, let's get together. Let's come up with some concepts. We like this concept. We like this concept. We want to talk about this. We want to talk about that. We don't get too deep, but it was cool to work with Curt in that aspect, where he had some freedom just to not think about beats. Although he once in a while he still got a little bit involved with some of the I guess layout and stuff and hooks. Well, most of the hooks, but yeah, that was it. I mean, AIM is a good dude, man. I mean. We had talked about doing more projects, but it just hasn't panned out yet.
Well, I mean, what about
I was just gonna, I was gonna say.
What about this?
Oh yeah, he did it. Yeah.
I'm not sure how that works out. I think I actually did the original with the Sean Price and the Pool Bar joint, and AIM did the remix. But how it got released is that AIM did the version, but then I came back and I did an actual other version to the remix. So I had to restructure it after I heard, what was going on, and I heard my original version. So there's like almost like 3 versions, but that was the original version.
Gotcha.
That I did, but that wasn't the original version. That was not. And the other one, I think he just told me which ones he wanted to do as he wanted to get remixes for, and then I went in and did that. Working with those guys made me do some things that I'm not used to doing. I can't do something after I've already done it. It's like weird in my head. And as far as the Force was concerned, we had never ever written inside of the studio, while it was all going on, and then recording it like the next day. It takes me like weeks to write some stuff. So that was a very odd situation for us to write it in the studio and then record it the next day.
Wow.
It's very difficult. So I was uncomfortable there for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know how guys do it. Some guys do it. Some guys can write it right there, lay it right there. I mean, a lot of guys can do it. I take 2 weeks to write.
Yeah.
Write a track. At least.
Yeah.
So, everybody's got their thing.
Who came up with the album title? It's such a great album title.
I think that's AIM.
Okay.
I think that's definitely AIM. Yeah. I mean, he came up with a couple, and I think he gave us some choices, but then he came back and said, I think I like this one. I was like, yeah, it sounds interesting enough. Let's go with it.
And he came up with the concept of the book, of the self-help book and all that stuff, which was cool.
So dope. Yeah, it's a total package.
Yeah, he definitely inventive.
Yeah, I remember the conversation being like, we want, because, a lot of guys on that side of the pond, they're very, more eclectic. They you look at the album covers, just, on the East Coast here, everybody's just like, in front of a building or something. I think actually Duo Dynamic was us in front of a building, right? So,
I think so, yeah.
So when AIM mentioned it, he was like, oh, you guys have any ideas? And I remember the conversation being like, yo, do what you guys do. Come up with,
basically.
Different, something that, and he did. I thought that was dope. The self-help book was crazy. And he actually had an idea of actually making like a physical self-help book, like an actual book. And I don't remember what happened with it, but I was like, yo, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, it's super creative.
Yeah, I like it.
There's no more abandoned cars to pose in front of, so you can't use abandoned cars.
I was gonna say.
Listen, I actually picked that out. We were driving by. I said, listen, why don't we just take this shot in front of this right here? I said, who's this say with me? I'm going to see this again, so we might as well give it a shot. I didn't really think it was going to be the album cover, though.
It's funny being from Long Island, it's like, we don't have the big backdrops, like the big city backdrops, right? So like I had pictures in front of train trestles. I had pictures in front of rocks. I had pictures in woods. Before me and Kurt, I had pictures in the woods. I was like, yeah, let's go. But then that's why you gotta give, guys like AIM credit, man. Like those guys, he came up with concept. You're like, oh, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was a little simple. I like woods and train.
Wood and train track.
Oh man. So what's next? What's next?
Well, we have about 6 songs, and I'm sitting here actually looking at the screen. We got about 6 songs that I decided I was going to do all this mixing at one time, and I'm not really sure how that's going to work. But I'm trying to keep going, and trying to keep, get the verses down, get the hooks down, get everything down, and do all the tracking. And I miss the days of just coming and saying, all right, I get Kieran from D&D. I'm gonna meet you at 8:00. We're gonna mix this song. The next day I'll come in, I'll mix a song. Now it's like I gotta mix these songs.
Yeah.
and I didn't want it to get away from me, but I think it is. So I'm gonna mix as many as I can. But again, I can only mix so many without, sacrificing some kind of sonic quality somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So I want to mix each song in its own vein, so it has its own roughness or its own cleanness, if you will.
Yeah.
Or if it's supposed to be sonically raw, then that song should be. But I can't mix the next song the next day with that in mind. So I have to purge that out completely.
Yeah.
But the last joint I just did, the beat was so simple, but it drove. But I found myself doing 8 hours of tracking each
Wow.
like piece here, another adding, I had an idea, added this in here. And it was a simple beat, but it turned out with all these pieces and stuff like that. I spent more time on it than one of my more intricate beats. So I can't figure that one out. So I was just like,
Funny how that works.
it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And then, then I had something I was doing, and I'm actually doing a track that me and Ed OG are supposed to be collabing on a project. So I just got finished, and the same thing started happening again. I'm doing all this tracking, and I'm like, one track today, and then one track tomorrow, and I'm like, this song should be done, but I don't even know. So it's just trying to keep in flow. Then I'm gonna have to mix that song down too. So it's gonna be something.
What equipment are you using these days, Curt?
I still have everything I did have. I don't want to necessarily start doing anything different, because I tried to buy good keyboards originally. I had still got my Triton, I believe, and you can't beat a Roland. So I have my Roland, and all the sounds I'll just mine. Different sounds I just mine from my vinyl.
Yeah.
And I still got my MPC 2000, but I have an MPC 1 now. So I was doing beats while trying to learn the one at the same time, and now I'm a little bit better versed with the one. I'm able to do more. So, but still got to make sure it doesn't sound too clean. So that's the only thing I got to watch with that.
Yeah.
But the convenience. I mean, sometimes I just go to bed and I have this sitting there, and my wife is sleeping, and I'm here. Pop, pop, pop. So, wherever I'm at now, I can go. I'm sitting watching the Yankee game or something. I'll just whip it out. If I can get this idea out of my head, then I can go on to the next one.
Yeah.
So that portability, that sort of thing helped out. And technology is great to a point, to a point. But you can get everything in a box now for the most part.
Yeah.
But I try to stay away from that stuff if I can.
Yeah. Q, how do you approach writing verses? Do you need a beat first, or are you able to just, like, if you get an idea, can you just like start writing and then try to figure out where it's going to go later? What's your process like?
For me, it's always been, I need the beat first.
Okay.
When I first started writing, way back, I would just write and write and write. Before you came on, C-Doc, I was explaining how terrible I was and how Curt tried to fix me.
Right.
So I would write my rhymes, and they'd be like 30 words in one bar, and then Curt kind of was like, we got to cut this short. So kind of told that already.
Curt Coldplay. You got to know that one.
So we fixed that, and then fast forward. So now, mostly I need to hear the beat first. Like the one of the joints Curt was just talking about, like he'll just kind of send me something. I work in the city, so I drive. I'm in the car for a long time, so I'll just pop it in the car, and that will usually just drive me. Opening line will come, take me about 7 hours to get one opening line. So any flat line, any opening line I have, it took 7 hours, and then everything else came. That's just what I am. Then things start to flow. So it just takes. If I hear the beat, like even with some of the collabs, like a couple dudes, even when Rob Smith sent us the 50 More Hits joint. It was pretty much done except for the hook. So as soon as I played it, I kind of like, oh, okay. Curt told me what the concept was. Kurt came up with that concept for that, and
That's so dope.
and then in the car I just listen to it, and then I just kind of memorize it as I go, and I'm pretty good in the studio because like I said, it takes me so long to write, 2/16 or 3/8 or whatever. It takes me so long to write it that I memorize it by the time I get to the studio. So when I get to Kurt's, usually I have it and I can just knock it out. Usually.
Nice.
Yeah. But to answer the question, it's mostly if I hear the beat, if we're doing a collab and somebody sends something dope, I'm like, yo, I want that, and I just listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
Right,
Word. Yeah, I'm always curious. I'm always curious about how different MCs approach it, and handle and their process through it. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's kind of Kurt built me into that guy because I was bad, bro.
Whereas I don't write to the beat at all.
Yeah, Kurt doesn't write to the beat.
Never. I write to anything that's playing anywhere, but I will never write to that beat that we're supposed to use. Will not touch it until that night. Yeah, absolutely. Until we go in and recording, I will not touch that beat one time. I might do it like the day before just to make sure certain lines will lock. But otherwise, I will write every verse of it to a whole many different songs. So if if a premiere song comes on or something like that, and it's only a piece of instrumental playing on either the radio or streaming, I'll just write a couple of verses, lines to that. And then that's how I'll do it. And then I'll tighten it up to something completely different.
Yeah. How does that help you? That's an interesting process.
Yeah. Because you're dealing with the producer part, and with me, the producer part is in the back of my head. So if I'm listening to this beat, there's a possibility I'm not gonna like it if I keep hearing it. So I have to decide that I'm not gonna do it. So even when I do a beat, I'll do the beat and I'll tighten up the beat, but I won't write it. I won't write anything to that beat. So, or else when I get in, I'm like, now I don't particularly feel that like that no more.
Yeah.
So it's always brand new and fresh to me when I come in, because it's like, all right, and then I have to take a long time to line up all the things to this beat. But it works better like that than to be rhyming like I don't like the beat.
Yeah.
So and that's how that started, and that's just
Yeah,
and working it out.
When I come into Kurt's studio, right, I've been screaming over his beat for 2 weeks, right? So then he goes, "Oh, calm down, bro. You've been yelling over this beat in your car for 2 weeks, man. It's not when you put the headphones on, it's not as loud as when it's in your car. Calm down, right, Kurt?"
Sometimes.
Everything's down.
Meanwhile, I'm like, damn, I didn't think this beat was that fast. So I'm gonna have to rewrite. I'm gonna change some lines here or something, because I should have practiced to this beat.
And we have so much fun with it, and that's why we stay with it. You know what I mean? Regardless of the releases, regardless of money, regardless of everything, me and Kurt have fun with it. So it gets us together too. We've been friends for a long time, and we both we live about 25 minutes away from each other. So it also gets us together and lets us chill and laugh and ladies joints down. So we'll just keep doing it until the wheels fall off. So
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Although now, Q, you got me interested, because I want to send you some old 80s style drum machine beats to just have you yell over them.
Let's go.
What that sounds like.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But I won't do my famous "Mama said knock you out" impression.
That's great. All right. Any other questions? All right.
I'm good.
How can everybody find you?
Yeah, please. Yes.
If they want to.
Well, I'm on Twitter, QNC2. I mean, not on Twitter. Is it X now? I'm not on as much, but I do jump on once in a while because I got a lot of peeps on there. But I'm also at the original QNC on Instagram.
And I'm at Curt Cazal on both X and Instagram when I can find the time to get on there.
Yeah.
I was posting some beats here and there, but I was like, if I post that beat, then I'm never gonna use it. So
Right.
I don't want to do that. So I stopped.
All right, word up. Yeah. Well, guys, appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Absolutely.
And you, Jenny.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It was fun. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
anytime. And hey, when you guys got new material, you want to come back and let us know, please do.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
You know where to send it.
You know it.
You know you're getting it. You know you're getting it. And then maybe my boy Ultra can give us a little video or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
Of course.
You know,
You know the deal, of course.
I'm always watching. Yeah, those
Thank
videos are dope. Those videos are dope.
Thank you.
I like the He-Man. I like the He-Man jokes too.
Okay.
Those videos are dope.
Everybody's doing their thing.
All right. Curt Cazal, QBall, QNC. Thank you for being here.
Respect.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Salute.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right.
Everybody, come on now.
Now I gotta go back and watch the beginning of the show and see what I missed. So
Yeah. Fun.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I've been in contact with them for many years now, so it was great to actually talk to them. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yes, I want to go back and listen to The Habit of a Lifetime because I haven't heard it in it's been a long while since I've heard it. So
good one. It's a good one.
yeah.
Yep.
Got to go back and revisit. So
I'll just one more time for Ultra. Oh, God damn it. Fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, good stuff. All right. So there
The
it is.
show was brought to you by.
Yes. The show is brought to you by.
Are we doing this now?
Yeah, sure.
Hackensack Brewing
Yes.
and the Awesome 2
Yeah.
and the beer Auga, where this, I believe on the 23rd, the Awesome 2 will be having another Vibes in the Garden. This one, I think, is more house music. I was reading today, but still good music. I'm sure they'll have all types of tunes, but head on over to Hackensack, New Jersey, Hackensack Brewing. Check out the beer Auga, Awesome 2, all of that.
Yep. And it is also brought to you by the Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
Ain't that the truth?
You guys did it again. All right.
Yeah, they both ran.
Yes, please go to spitslamrecords.com. Check out the fantastic music we have available on CD. Or go stream the shit. I don't care. Just check it out.
Yeah, listen.
I prefer you buy something, but if you're gonna
Wow.
stream it, that's
Or
cool too.
go stream the shit. I don't.
Yep.
See, he's going to get it today, Jennifer.
No. Nobody can take that away from you. Holy cow.
You can also check out Flatline, Mr. Chuck D and myself every Friday night for the Angie Don't Stop radio show on courtesy of Rap Station, and you can catch it on Mixcloud. I play the Spit Slam Jam of the Week. Flatline has the Hip Hop Gods radio. Did you do your hip hop? Oh, you're on hiatus.
No.
You're on
I said,
hiatus.
nope. Maybe next week. Maybe not. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You can catch Ultra Mag 7, Jennifer O'Jenny, and our man in Amsterdam, DJ Soulbuck, who Sunday night at 8 p.m. right here on Channel Zero for the mixtape, where they play the music of our upcoming guest for next week.
Man.
Flatline's already ready to plot.
And who's our guest next week, Jennifer?
Well, as everybody's sitting down, all five everybody who left already, you're just suckers.
Yep.
Damn it.
And you will never know. The one and only DOC.
It's the doc, yo.
Will be joining us Tuesday evening.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, indeed.
Oh man,
Flatline.
You lucky I don't have my DOC tape right now.
I'll run and go get mine right now.
I gotta go find mine. Yeah.
Yes, Dre Mays. Wow is right. Yep. The DOC will be here with us Tuesday night.
Yep. So check out Soul Buck as he spins those tunes on Sunday, and then join us next week right here on Channel 0, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking to the man himself, the DOC. I want to thank everybody watching us live and on the replay, especially big, huge thanks to my co-hosts, Flatline, Ultramax Evan, Jennifer Jenny, for holding it down.
We did it.
You did it. Thank you so much. Thank you for keep it rolling.
Yep.
So
doing it.
Yep. And we will join. Please, if you like the show, like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Mm-hmm. Tell your mom.
Especially tell them because the DOC is going to be here.
Right. Exactly. Yes. So tell your mom the DOC is going to be here.
Tell everybody.
Yep. And we will see you next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again.
Trisket time.
Trisket time. Oh!